Hello and welcome to All That Trash, a podcast about all that reality trash and all of our trash opinions. I'm Sarah. I'm here in person with Kuba.
I just took a bite of a little pastry thing, so I'm enjoying that.
Oh, that's nice.
Tasted that in my mouth right now.
Oh, yeah. Love a little pastry in the morning. It's actually the afternoon. It's a lovely, sunny, cold day here in London. And we are, of course, back for another Traitors special edition of All That Trash. What a week!
It's been a fantastic
Oh.
week. It's been so entertaining, hasn't it?
You
We
know,
had the honour of watching episode, what was it, 6?
yeah,
together yesterday. That was really, really fun. Had a bit of takeaway.
Yeah, that was really
place
nice.
we will not name because the prices have been going up.
I know. The less people that know about it, the better.
Yeah.
But an establishment in near us in London, in Northwest London. Anyway, we digress. Kuba, how's your week been?
It's been great. It feels like we're back in the swing of things again. It's life again. There's no sort of soft launching into January anymore.
No.
So back into that and just catching up with people, seeing friends.
Nice.
People. Bracing the fucking horrible wind and cold and snow and
it's been a lot. I think it's a nice reminder that January is January, by the way. We are now in the depths of winter. The only slight upside is that you do start to notice the incremental getting lighter in January, but it's still pretty, long days of darkness. But I'm glad to hear you're feeling a bit more hard launched now.
I feel like, let's get back into the world.
Yeah.
Let's be here.
Yeah. Let's be present.
Let's engage with what's actually happening around us.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. So that's been all right.
God bless you.
How's your week been?
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar. I don't think there's much to report or I feel like I never have anything scary, crazy, funny, weird to report on these shows. Other than just I don't know,
anyone pissed you off lately?
Anyone pissed me off? Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I mean, yes, many, but not anyone I would want to put on blast.
Yes. Yeah, mine are all petty and kind of make me look bad, so I'm not going to mention that.
Yeah, we want to show our best selves to you guys. We don't want to have all our little petty resentments. No one even on public transport. I feel like I've just been gliding through life, not in everyone's lovely and everyone's fine. More in just I'm not really looking up. I'm not really looking down. Just looking.
She's just going.
Just
through.
here.
That's perfect, actually.
Just hear me.
Just hear me. Perfect in the big city.
Yeah. So obviously, as for most of us, the highlights of our weeks is the Wednesday to Friday time, 9:00. Was previously randomly 8:00, which I would threw me off when it first started. I was like, 8, oh. And then now it's it's on at 9. Oh, I'm confused. Anyway, I feel like the scheduling got a bit off. But anyway.
It's too much for us.
Thank God for Traitors, because we are all, as a nation, well, at least most of the people I speak to are very gripped with this season. I think, I'll be honest, I think a lot of people are feeling this cohort that there's something they're quite not getting about the game.
They're not the strongest team we've had, especially in terms of getting money and sussing clues. I think
they are all a bit...
What's happening?
They're all going very much off vibes.
Yeah.
Which is quite sweet to watch the game be played in that way, because I guess for most of us, as we know, we see people's preconceptions about certain individuals come out a lot in this game. And I think this season has been no different, unfortunately. But also it is quite interesting to see how the nation is cottoning onto that a bit more.
Yeah, they never used to.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the first season I've seen people be like, nah, this is mad. This, targeting people for no reason. Well, brown and black people. Usually this season and last it was brown. For doing next to nothing, I don't know. Or actually being really helpful traitors most of the time. Really getting really stuck in and just being nice people. It's not something that was sort of discussed as broadly as it seems to be being discussed now. So justice for Kaz.
Justice for poor little Kaz. So as we did last week, we're going to go through each episode, try to sort of unravel thoughts and reactions and theories. And let's dive in. So we started Wednesday, which feels like a long time ago now. with episode 4, and we obviously had the return of the people who got off the train. The amazing Fozia, who honestly has been.
Fozia or Fozia?
Yeah,
Fozia?
They say Fozia, don't
she
they?
Said, I heard her say her. I was like, let me wait to see what she says. So she said Fozia, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Cool.
But I've only just learned that. Yeah.
So Fozia, my apologies. Fozia, and who has been a wonderful addition to this game. I know we're going to go through chronologically, but I just find her so engaging. Her facial expressions, the way that she reacts to things, the way that she talks, like has conversations where she is like kind of fishing people out, especially Linda, have just been wonderful. So that's really been fun. We also had Jack, the one who
Jack is the other cheeky chappy who didn't make it in.
Exactly.
I'm really glad he didn't make it in.
We didn't need him. Let's be honest. And of course, Alexander, aka the spy, aka Crazy Eyes.
Yeah, spy / diplomat. Diplomat.
Yeah. Also, Thirst Trap, apparently.
Oh my gosh,
There's a lot of people online.
Edits of like the cuts of him. Like,
yeah.
He's not ugly, obviously, but he's not my.
People see things in people, and it's like I think he has the touch of the like, you know how people will thirst over politicians randomly.
Yeah.
So like, there's been years where like Ed Miliband and like Keir Starmer.
Really? No, I'm joking. I got the David Miliband. Sorry,
David Miliband. David Miliband. David Miliband could be like on a American sitcom / drama playing like the president.
I think
do you know what I mean?
He'd need to get like new American teeth, but he's not. There's nothing. I don't have amazing teeth.
No, in America, the beauty standards are like you need perfect white teeth.
But I think I could see that.
Yeah. He just would be. I would thirst over him as like. Yeah. You know,
I used to think he was hot when I was a teenager, which is really weird.
I mean, he was the better looking, and he lost out to Ed. Anyway, I think Alexander has that about him. I think people, so he's got like, anyway. But obviously we started with the murder of Mia, the other sister, which I think made us all breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, because I think if Mia had been a better player and had more theories, I think I would have wanted her to stay. But I don't know what the only kind of time I really saw her jump out at me was where she was like Freddie, with the comment he made. I don't know. I think she could have gone on to be a good player, but I also just didn't really see the point in her staying in the game. That was my take, really.
I thought she would have. I don't think she would have been onto them. Actually, no. She was starting to like get into the game.
Yeah.
She probably would have started to take things even more seriously because the stakes were higher. Because she was the only sister left, so it was like a bring home the money kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I also thought it made sense for them to kill her, because why not? She didn't seem to be onto either of them.
No.
But she might have formed stronger theories later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was I was shocked, because I thought for them, I was like, I'm sad for the sisters that their dreams have been dashed immediately. Like, there's just no chance. And like, they're probably their biggest issue was that they were sisters. Like,
I
don't think, I was going to say Armania, whoever spelled her name wrong, but I don't think Armani would have been sussed as quickly if her sister wasn't there.
No.
Even though she was shit, she would have been sussed for sure, but I don't know if it would have been by that episode. It might have been the next episode or something.
True. I think also, I mean, some of them, I think it was Tyler who was like, oh, if there's going to be twins, one of you will be a traitor, or sisters or relatives. And I can see why he would think that, because not based on previous seasons, but based on the fact that there would be a challenge thrown into the game by making one of them and having to suss the other one out. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that she could have gone further, but also I wonder whether there were other faithfuls who were a bit more clueless, who they could have gone for. I can't remember who was up for the chopping block. I'm pretty sure maybe Frankie was, or maybe Alex. Anyway, maybe one of them. But they're also very much sticking it out. There is, as much as Claudia keeps saying to them, you guys are shit. Come on, guys. There's still quite a lot of just like ones who were like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like obviously we've got Linda's fantastic acting, but we have, I don't know, who else is there? Frankie is one who's kind of just there. Alex is kind of just there. Jake is also kind of just there. They're fading into the background a bit.
They are. And I think Joe as well, now he's not got Kaz, like, number one.
Who's Joe? Oh, the teacher.
The teacher.
Yeah. Now Kaz is out of his sights. He's like, oh, you're not talking now.
What have I got? I've got he's literally got nothing. Anyway, so we obviously saw them. We're seeing, you know, an interesting band of faithfuls, not very successful, but hey ho. And we obviously got to see the challenge where we brought back the lovely Alexander. Found his speech was like it gave me sitting in like one of those all staff meetings, and some manager of some area gets up who just really tries to be like, hey guys, I love you all, and it was just
I'm a human. I like all of you. Like, I really love spinning. Like, okay, whatever.
Moved. No, not keen. Fozzie obviously had a very strong speech.
Her speech was fantastic.
She was brilliant.
She was like, you guys,
yeah.
I saved all of your asses.
I stuck my neck out. I actively stuck my neck out because on her carriage, I remember her very clearly being like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I when she said that, I was like, no. But obviously, we're lucky we've got her back. And then obviously Jack, who we mentioned, cheeky chappy.
Yeah, I really immediately wrote down in my notes, please. We don't need another little boy.
No.
Please.
That brigade does not need more charge. Like, it's fine. I really did think he was going to get in because I thought maybe like that charge of people will like gun for him. But I think there were a couple of people like Leanne, for example, who's obviously getting quite a lot of coins. She was like, I'm going for Fozzie. So I think she was one of the reasons why Fozzie got down first, I think. And then like Alexander, who was it? What's her name? Charlotte, I think, was going for Alexander quite a lot. They seem to have a weird little bond.
Who's Charlotte?
Oh, Charlotte.
That's what I'm
Charlotte.
Charlotte's that one.
Yeah, Charlotte is Welsh.
Yeah,
not Welsh.
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe she has a little thing. I don't know. I honestly was not paying attention.
No,
Charlotte is also faded in the background.
She has. Like, the suspicions kind of moved away from her completely, and then no one's really suspecting her at all, which is silly. But
I did find the cheeky chappie's. What's his name now? The blonde one.
Jack.
I did find Jack's speech really weird. Like, I think it was very much like it was like a take me out sort of like speech. Like, from Yorkshire, like, I do this, I go swimming, I blah blah blah. I know he was kind of trying to say like, oh, I can do these things that might be helpful in tasks, but it just felt like
we've
like
already got
on a dating show.
We've already it's also the whole thing with Traitors about like having the personality hires, whatever. Like, I feel like at this stage in the game, if you don't realise that what they need is people who like will put themselves out as strategic players, you're not actually going to get through. I feel like that personality hires have to have been there from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I don't think he really understood how he could angle himself.
He was like, I'm charming. It's like, who gives a fuck about that at this point in the game?
No.
Which I'm really glad didn't work. So that was nice.
It was. I did think he would probably get through based on the fact that they're like, oh, I love him, but I'm really happy he didn't. And my favourite moment of the challenge was Fozzie when she was like, anyway, see ya. I just she was like, she's like, I'm on my way. So anyway, brilliant time. So we obviously get back to the castle, and I think this is the moment where, because in last week I said I don't think Kaz will go. I think Kaz will be fine. I think the suspicion will move off him. I feel like there will be something else that will come up that will happen. But sadly that didn't happen, and I think we kind of got a glimpse into, at least in Kaz's words, why he felt that he hadn't really had an opportunity to show that he was a faithful, because he seemed to be getting ostracized by the group. They
were fully ignoring him, like, making him feel alienated and not really giving him an opportunity to mingle with anyone. Also without his name coming up as well. And it was like, how much can you talk about having the same suspicions over this guy without any extra evidence? Like, I'd understand if it was like, oh, Kaz has gone and done X, Y, Z, Kaz has done this, Kaz has done that, but it was like, it seemed more like bitching than anything else. There was no new compelling evidence of him potentially being a traitor.
No.
It was still, he's nice and he's a doctor.
Yeah.
I don't
Still.
trust it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you don't have to find someone authentic or trust their intentions in terms of why they're being nice. But that's also not evidence that they're doing something wrong. So none of it made sense. It was hard to watch. It was quite upsetting.
It was sad, and I think it's also, again, it's part of how Traitors just like shows on the what we experience a lot on the outside, which is like people get ostracized for reasons that they can't control. A lot of the time, people have preconceptions about what people are like and why they might behave a certain way for the like whatever reason. And unfortunately, I think like people like, I don't know, Joe was giving like he'd felt like he'd become accepted by a group of people, and therefore he'd like found a thing and then was like using that as like currency to, I don't know, to be accepted by the rest of the group. And like probably some of them were probably doing it and like inadvertently like excluding Kaz, probably, but there probably were a group of people who were doing it quite intentionally.
Yeah, he had a lot of, I don't know, every roundtable or opportunity to talk about the situation, his observations about Kaz were always very personal, and it seemed quite mean. Obviously, Kaz has now had to do the thing that a lot of brown and black people have to do when
but like,
people are racist to them on public TV and say, no, don't be mean to whatever his name is, Joe, like be nice to him. We're friends, and like I co-sign his being a nice person or whatever. And obviously, yes, like fans of the show should not be. You ruin it for everyone.
You
like,
do.
Go and at the actual person. They don't need to know what you think. No one gives a fuck.
No.
What you think about what they did on a TV show, on a game show.
No.
Talk to your friends. Go on Reddit. If you must, make a TikTok. Like do whatever, but don't send it to them. Like don't target the actual person. Please.
It's true.
Because then you have to make 9 fucking giving Kaz.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra emotional labour, guys.
Exactly. It gets in the way of having an actual genuine discussion about it, which is really irritating. Like, and also make it, taking the person on the, perpetrating end to task about. So why, let's talk about it. Why did you come after Kaz in that way?
Yeah.
Why did you, like, what were the things? Can you explain or whatever? And how do you understand or take accountability for how you made him feel? Like, and it is really, you're right. It's a level of emotional labor that, and on a very public scale that Kaz has to deal with. And because Joe's is still in the show, it's like he's not really being requested to do that at this stage. So I feel like, because like Joe's story hasn't concluded yet, I think it is really frustrating to see that happen. And I hope that it's that thing of like, be kind, isn't it? Like using that term is not necessarily helpful in this scenario, but it is very much like, let's try to ignore the trolls and whatever they feel like doing, whatever they feel like targeting someone, being weird and sending weird shit. Just again, focus on what is our perception of that behavior, and what does it show us, what does it tell us,
yes,
and how can we learn from that, rather than like, oh, people are mean, like people will, like no, like we know that people will do that, like it's a part of the internet and people being faceless and like being anyway. So but I guess on a not on a lighter note, but on a separate note at that round table, we had
actually, before we got there,
sorry,
because we had Dan's eye roll, because there was Dan and Joe discussing their various theories, and Dan was taking issue with the way that Joe was expressing something. I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but they were talking about their different approaches to whatever task or whatever, and potentially Kaz again, I'm not sure. And Joe was like, oh, don't have to be so sensitive or whatever, and Dan rolled his eyes, and I was really happy. So when you can feel tension between two people building and then you get sort of a physical display of it, it's so satisfying. I like the confirmation that him and Dan just don't fuck with each other.
No, they're holding it together, but they clearly, I was talking to my friend about it, and she was like, they clearly trigger each other. There's something about the other that's either like because a lot of people were suspecting that either they're a couple or
Why do you think they're a couple?
I don't know. I don't think if you were in a couple with someone, you would be that horrible to them on national television. I think it would make you look really bad.
Yeah, like what would be the point of this?
I think, or people think they're brothers, or I think they probably remind each other of their sibling potentially. But no, thank you for reminding us of that, because that was an incredibly iconic moment. And it's obviously not Dan's first eye roll. He's done a couple of those.
He has. He lets us know how he feels, and I really appreciate it. So
I think so we obviously had go on.
Sorry, there was a lot of stuff that happened just before the round table. There was eavesdropping as well, wasn't there, in that episode? Yes, when Dan, Joe, and someone else they were all talking in the room. I should have made more detailed notes, but some of the girls, like I think it was Livy, the blonde one, the nail tech, and another one maybe, were listening in on the conversation, and then they heard. I think maybe Livy might have heard her name. Maybe Freddie was in. I think Freddie might have been in the room.
Yes, so that's actually really good. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. So this is where we start seeing a kind of unraveling of Livy, I guess, because
this is the beginning of her just spiraling out of control.
Yeah, because I mean, up to now, Livy's sort of been. I feel like she's been in this, group of people that they've already kind of at this point identified as being a little group. It's like Livy, Leon, Tyler, Leanne, and she's starting to think, well, what about? Like, why would? And I think it's because she is out there sort of making accusations, protected by a group. There are, by process of elimination, it very much could be her. And
she's very much lost in the source of friendship for no reason. This is not, again, it's not a best friend race, or it's not RuPaul's best friend race. It's just the traitors. So it's odd that everyone gets sucked in. I do understand it.
Yeah.
But I think getting that quickly, like, sucked into the dynamics of, like, who she's mates with rather than, like, what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And also the sort of zeroing in on Freddie's based on nothing.
I know. Poor Freddie. So Freddie obviously has, like, I think it's in the next episode where Freddie really gets the...
Oh, when they go mad.
Yeah, when they go mad at Freddie.
Yeah.
But so there are, like, tensions are rising before the round table, which again made me think maybe it won't be Kaz. Maybe Kaz will be off the hook.
That's
but obviously the suspicion fell to Anna, which was Lisa helpfully brought to us, which was interesting. And obviously we're seeing Anna say that she's got the chops to, like, defend herself because she has lots of siblings. Now, I thought when she said that, I was like, but do you? And then it was like, oh yeah, you prove my point. She just was a bit scrabbly. Like,
I don't think she did.
No.
I think what she showed was that she showed how she defends herself against her siblings, and how the way that you do when you're with siblings a lot of the time, when you regress, and you act like a child, and you kind of resort to finger pointing and no, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, and cutting each other off and not actually making a point.
No,
like, I think she showed exactly how she fights her siblings.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not effective in the real world against other adults.
No,
it makes you look like a brat.
True. And also, I think I would find arguing with... I love Lisa, don't get me wrong, but I think I would find arguing with her really difficult because she's very, like...
Yeah, she doesn't give much and she's not stooping to your level, basically.
No, she would never, like, raise, like, or try and one-up you in the energy, like, levels. If you were, like, being like... She would just be like...
Yeah.
So, it was interesting watching her get frustrated.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I felt like, not too much,
Yeah.
Like, just calm the fuck down. But I also found it funny. It was endearing to some degree because it was like, I feel like I've just seen, like, 14-year-old you. That's sweet.
Also, like, another wonderfully iconic line from Linda where she was just, jumped on the bandwagon. Why? Yeah. We don't have to repeat it, but we know the line. From Linda.
I actually don't. What was the line?
When she was like, you don't have to be a sailor. There we go, I'm repeating it. You don't have to be a sailor to tie a boat.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Ooh.
It was Linda's acting is top notch.
It was brilliant.
Top notch acting.
Oh, she get the Oscar nominations are not out yet, so all up for grabs. And the Kaz Goop. The wonderful Kaz Goop. Like, Goop, that fucking Joe.
Yeah. I mean,
Pipe down. Sorry, bless you. That really got my back up when he was like...
Yeah, they were... Because they did a really good job when they started to turn on Kaz again, because they had... Leon as well, I've been really disappointed in on the black on brown crime. I've been really upset with him for not whatever, but he's also been in a really unique position for a black man on the show to be trusted this much by a group of white women. So I feel like, well, it might be because they fancy him, I'm not sure. But
apparently Leanna is a lesbian.
Or maybe they just like him then as friends. I think it was a shame when everyone did start going in on Kaz and they didn't buy anything he was saying, any of his excuses, and then immediately Fozia was like, I've blocked it. Like, this feels personal.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't feel like just normal suspicions that you have towards a fellow player. This is something else. And I'm really glad that she raised that. But it's also a shame that it took another person to recognise game and be like, oh, I can see exactly what's going on. Because he only had like Dan and Armani and someone else, I can't remember, maybe like 2 or 3 people who were like adamantly like, no, this is not it kind of thing. But yeah, I appreciated Fozia being there. It made me happy. And yeah, Kaz gave us the gooping.
He did. It was nice to see him get at them. And also I think one of the things as well with Kaz that frustrated me about the going after him and the theories was like, he literally said, I've given up at this point. If it's like relentless, what are you supposed to do? And it's like, you literally saw Armani, a traitor, fight for her life.
Exactly.
If she was a traitor, you can see what a traitor would do in that situation. And it just didn't make any sense why he would say like, I've given up now. Like if he weren't faithful. So yeah, I think having Fozia there as a non-voting person as well in some ways helped to highlight that, because she felt, I guess she knew it was a shame because she couldn't not vote for him. Or vote for someone else or like even out the scores. But I think you're right, at least it was voiced. Again, it's a shame that a brown person had to do it for him and that wasn't recognised by others in the team or wasn't shown. But again, it's like, it's important discussion to keep having around like how this show is cast. And I was thinking about it a lot. I was like, I think we have to remember, like in the UK, or like a lot of people live in quite, I'm not saying like segregated communities, but I think a lot of white people live just around white people. I think that some of that is a lot of the reason why people have these biases that are like built up over years and through the way people are exposed to the world, and then they're like in a room with people who like don't meet their expectations.
They're like, this doesn't square with what I assume about you already.
Exactly.
Also there'll be white people who live near other black and brown people in diverse communities. They just don't mix with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not just people like living in rural, or out of town, whatever areas.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is very much that, I think, of it challenging their perception of a group of people and being confused by it or willfully obtuse about it. I think a lot of the time, it's like whole confirmation bias thing. But yes, it was a shame, but also I was glad that she was there. So.
Yeah.
And Kaz got his own back in a way.
Yeah.
With his joke about Joe's stupid clue about the twinkle in his eye being the indication that he was a traitor. So which anyway, he did not like. No,
he didn't. So yeah, long live Kaz, sadly. But we move on to episode 5.
Episode 5.
So episode 5, we have obviously in the previous episode we've seen that the traitors have the choice to recruit someone.
Yes.
And we have the, I think, somewhat stupid decision to try and recruit Anna.
I don't know why they thought she would say yes.
Why?
Or why she would be. Well, I could see trying to recruit someone who thinks an idiot who you can, but I mean, who you can manipulate.
Yeah.
Maybe they were thinking that, but I think Anna thinks Anna's playing a game that I don't think is being.
Yeah.
Like, she keeps doing things and saying things that suggest that she doesn't really understand what's happening.
Interesting.
Well, she keeps being like, so, I mean, this is jumping forward a little bit, but we'll get to it. But in terms of being the traitors trying to recruit her, even though the traitors haven't really targeted her after she said no, she's like, they've been gunning for me. She said they've been gunning for me since day one. Like, they're trying to get me. And it's like, they're really not. Like,
no.
You're not actually a factor.
No.
You're not powerful enough. And you missed clues.
Yeah.
she had a lot of opportunities in the note that they wrote her. We're looking for a strong independent woman, or whatever it was, or you're a strong independent woman. She did not mention it to anybody when she eventually fessed up. Anyway, I just thought Anna is a weak link. She really is.
I bet Linda wrote that independent woman thing.
She probably did. It was just not. I just don't know what she's. Yeah, I think she's feeling paranoid and like panicked about the whole situation, which is understandable. I wouldn't know what to do too, but I wouldn't keep it to myself.
No.
I don't know why she thought that was a good idea.
No. I think she's enjoying like trying to have main character energy. As we said at the beginning, I think some of them get what the game is. Some of them really get what the game is, and some of them really don't get what the game is. So it actually is quite an interesting. I think it's really becoming a fun show to watch for that reason. But yeah, so obviously Anna chose not to be recruited. Who do you think they should have recruited instead of her?
Oh, it's a tricky one.
I think they should have tried to recruit like Frankie or someone else, or like Charlotte, for example.
I think they should have gone for what's his name? What's the Scottish one called?
Alex.
Yeah. Alex.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think Frankie would have been a good one.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know about Charlotte because she was so like, I'm faithful. Like she's very. Some of them are really like they take it a bit too seriously. So I think it means I'm
a good person. Yeah.
I have good morals. Like I wouldn't murder someone in real life. Like that's not what it means.
Yeah,
like, you just have this role in the show. You might be an awful person outside.
True.
Like we don't know that. So yeah, I think I would have gone with Alex or whatever her name is, Frankie.
Yeah. I would have also, I think it would have been nice if they'd gone for someone like Dan, like who obviously, as we see, like has been really enjoying like playing the game in this really like self-serving way, and you know, as a faithful, but like I feel like he could have turned that so well to being a traitor. It would have been fun to see him flip to that role.
I think he would have been an untrustworthy traitor though. I think he would have fucked them.
Oh yeah, he would have found a way to like totally throw Mina under the bus, or throw. I mean, he would have Linda. He would have ate her for breakfast.
Yeah,
but like Linda, but Mina could have. I think he would have worked quite strategically with her. But so yes, so we did have. The shields were given out in the previous episode, I think. No. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, they did give shields.
They got shields. They did. Yes. So
Alex and Alexander, and Fozia gave shields.
That was it. Yes.
Mina and
Leanne. Yes.
Yeah.
So there were reactions to that, like Lisa making a face at Leanne. The whole thing with Leanne being like, but I've been trained to like look out for suspicious behaviour. Like, where?
I just don't. Like, what were you doing? She's quite young as well, so I'm like, how long were you? What were the conditions that you were discharged? Like, what happened? What happened there? I don't need to know, but I feel like I don't get. Maybe this is my ignorance about being in the army, but I just don't. When you say soldier, I think, you've been used as a pawn by the government to do some bad things.
You've been convinced by one of those adverts.
I'm trained spy.
No.
Sorry, babe. Trained to kill. But, or do... I don't know what she did in the army.
No.
Hopefully she didn't kill anyone. But, you know, I just... sorry.
It's true. I think like lots of people who work in those like frontline, you know, trained to look out for suspicious behaviour, it doesn't mean that you're... Right. And also, I think Lisa...
It's a really specific circumstances as well. Like
it is. I think...
We're not in a war zone.
No. I think it's just like a tacking on of like, oh, well, I'm actually this. And like, I'm actually like, I'm, you know, playing a underhanded game. And I'm not really seeing it. I'm not really seeing the strategy from her. Also, I don't think she's really made much of a... I've not seen her make any plays for anyone other than Freddie, really. No. And as part of that little group. So I think we move on to the task, which I think I heard quite a lot of people say they've had to like reduce the budget. They've obviously got some really massive task planned for the end.
Was this the house task?
This was this was where they had to move through the doors, and they got, which again, more scary. Too much scary.
It was very scary. I was going to say as well, because I wrote my notes, like whenever Claudia talks and explains the rules, I tune out. I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's get the game going.
Exactly.
Means.
Exactly.
yeah, I think I wrote something like I heard balloons, house, something. I don't know, but I did thought of you.
Yeah, so I am, for those who don't know, I have quite a fear of, it used to be a lot worse. Yeah, it used to be a lot worse, but I really have a fear of being, my worst nightmare is being in a room with a balloon flying about untethered, unrestricted, and people just randomly like playing with it. Like, I think I remember my memory is being in a classroom. I remember like it was a balloon. I've just been taunted so many times with balloons and like round objects that can burst.
Yeah.
And party poppers. And I just hate it. I hate loud bangs. There's something specific about balloons because there's like the way that they're made and like the stretchness of it and the like
tension.
Exactly. It's too much. And I've seen balloons pop. I remember being at a birthday party and they were like tied up somewhere and they just kept all like randomly popping because of the base of them. Anyway, so it was not a nice watch. I'm not afraid of clowns massively, although those clowns were scary, purposely scary clowns.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, but it was an interesting mission. I think also when the fact that Linda and Lisa obviously, and this is where we see like later on in the episode where Fozzie is like, oh, why did you two go up first? And like, why was that was an interesting one. I didn't necessarily think that was like a sus thing to do. If anything, I thought it was more sus like Leanne going quite early on, like, and her and Leon, because she got the shield like the last time.
Yeah.
I think traitors should always be like really trying to go for the shield.
Yeah, it's weird that she escapes suspicion in that sense.
Yeah.
Because that has been a thing in the past.
Yeah.
Traitors have really gone for the shield. They've been like, is that because...
Yeah, exactly. And
no one seems to be...
Exactly, because it's a clear faithful strategy and a clear traitor strategy. And also you can always like Harry in the previous season really used it to his advantage to make people think they tried to murder him. So yeah, if I was in there, I would really be suspecting Leanne.
Yeah.
And it's annoying that they're not. But yeah, obviously they got that task done. And they only have like 25 grand in the prize pot. They've got nothing in there. I mean, come on, guys.
They made, like, the amount of money they've made so far is pitiful, really. I don't know if it's sort of revisionist history, but I feel like a lot of the tasks that this team have been played poorly.
Right. Okay.
I feel like they haven't gone for the sort of the absolute maximum amount they could get. They've kind of got half or like less than that every time.
Yeah.
So the prize pot is looking abysmal. I would be so upset.
Yeah, I would think
this game.
Yeah, it would. Maybe the stakes have changed for a lot of them, and they're like, and the money is not really much of the drive anymore. Who knows? But yeah, so I mean, who knows? Maybe they're gonna like be able to make it up a lot towards the end in the next couple of weeks because we've only got 2 more weeks now, and then it's out of our lives.
I know.
For the whole of the year. Anyway, let's not think about that now.
Yeah.
So we obviously get back to the castle, and yeah, as I mentioned, Fozia is now starting to. This is where the kind of iconic / kind of duo of like Linda and Fozia like really starts to come into play to me. As in like their little cat and mouse, their little not tension, but their little like thing with each other.
Yeah.
Because the thing is with this, because I get why Linda is gunning for her. I get why they are gunning for Fozia. I think in the same way that if someone like Yin had stayed in like longer, because Fozia is perceptive and she is like
she's clocked her immediately.
Exactly. And she's also clearly made a lot of effort to like figure out and question like the relationships as well, and like ask people why, like, are you close? Interesting. So it's interesting. So but they give colleagues, like 2 women who work in an office who have like a weird friendly rivalry thing against each other, like
make passive aggressive comments. So, like Linda says something a bit shady, or like I keep saying clocked. Has clocked her, and will say something to sort of give her an inkling that she sees what she's doing. Linda is incensed. Linda goes to her colleagues and tries to get them to basically to get her. So yeah, that's been an interesting dynamic.
It has been, and I think Fozia has got allies at least. I hope that she's building more allies because I don't think Linda really does have allies. If anything, she's got more dissenters than anything.
Yeah.
But this is where obviously, again, we are going to run over a bit, I think. But we have the very confused. Sorry, go on.
When did the click stuff come
So I
in?
was going to say, I was just going to say. So we had the very kind of frustrating and confusing debate. And again, like, this is where Livy, again, further unraveling takes place for Livy. Because I guess, like Freddie was just saying what was on everyone's mind. And we've
also,
seen.
it wasn't him sitting in the room going, those guys are a clique.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
Why
They were all in earshot. Yeah,
They said
yeah.
to him, we still think blah, blah, blah. Why... Given that you've been accused of being a traitor, who do you think could be a traitor? He started to explain his reason why, and then Leanne was like, "What clique?
Yeah, I know.
Who's in a clique? What? No!" Like, they, as we talked about it a little bit as well, about them being more upset about the perception that they're not nice people than they were about what he was actually saying. And Livy just going into a tailspin about, God, she wasn't listening to anything he was saying.
She refused to listen. I think she just wanted Freddie to be like, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Like, she basically just didn't want to have any sort of discussion about it, which was really frustrating. Also, I think what they were failing to listen to, especially Livy, was the fact that they had tried to like group together and band together. I can't remember if it was Freddie or if it was Kaz, but it was when Tyler voted against what she thought he should vote for. I think it was Freddie, and how pissed off she was and how she was like, you know, so why would that not give you that there's like a very clear alliance there? So
like, she was like, we were all supposed to vote the same way. Even Tyler had mentioned in his he keeps saying this strange thing about Leon, being like, Leon's a king and Leon is very persuasive and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't think Leon's been trying to persuade you to think anything.
No.
I think you're enamored by him and want to, or intimidated. So you like feel like what he says should be gospel according to you, but he's not told you to.
True. I think it's like so
he was like, Leon didn't do what I wanted to do or what we discussed, so I'm annoyed by that. And it's like all of these expectations for you to vote the same way sound like traitor moves, which is why Freddie thinks what he thinks. Yeah,
exactly. It would make complete sense for a traitor to infiltrate that gang of people. Also, like when you say with like Leon being really persuasive, I was like, it really did not take much for him to be like, oh yeah, Tyler. When he was sat in the room with Freddie and he was like, oh, I was like, yeah, see, look how quickly. I think he's just like,
wait, what do you mean?
With like having this perception of Leon being like really, really persuasive, and I was like, oh, like no, his mind was changed quite quickly.
In where?
With Freddie.
Oh, okay.
With Freddie saying like, I think it's Tyler in your group, and him be like, oh yeah, like it was. I just don't think it was his. Yeah, as you say, like the character.
We all feel the same thing.
Yeah, the character was not shining. Like I think he's often been the first to like start at the round table and like start the conversation. I think it's just who Leon represents to Tyler is what's really shining through. But yeah, obviously we get to the round table and it all falls apart. And I was not expecting that to happen. I think I said last week, I was like, I think Tyler's going to make it to the end, but because he's got that like, he's like affable and he's like, you know, whatever. But obviously that really turned against him. And I think obviously not for the same reasons, but I guess, you know, he probably felt like, oh, this is what Kaz must have felt like people turning your niceness against you. So it's like, oh yeah, see, that's how it feels. But like, I think it was an interesting one to see, and it was also really nice to see how Mina jumped on it as well. Like that's the thing that makes Mina such a great player, is that she's so proactively jumping on whatever bandwagon there is, but in a way that's like
that seems authentic.
Exactly, because she's like, I'm seeing and understanding and like I agree. Like she's agreeing with people. I think in and out of the round table setting. So
I think you have to be prepared. As I'm saying this, like I would be awful as a traitor, but I think you have to be prepared as a traitor to avoid trying to fade into the background. Which is what Linda's doing. I think she thinks, oh, I'll say something that won't make much of an impact, and that will just help people to sort of forget about what I'm doing. You actually have to actively engage with what's happening. You just can't lead it.
No.
So I think Mina's like got that balance like perfect. She's realised that she has to be in these different conversations with people about what they're thinking, but she can't be guiding it or influencing it. And she has to appear to be influenced by other people.
Yeah.
But not be so stupid that, like, I don't know, that she makes a mistake, I suppose.
Yeah.
So she's smashing it.
She's smashing it.
Yeah.
And I guess with Linda as well, like, I guess quite like revealing, like, oh, this is, I'm someone who keeps my emotions hidden, especially to Jake. Like, it is funny watching her be so haphazard because you're literally describing them, like, the characteristics that a traitor should have. And it is, you know, again, it's funny. It's funny to watch. I really have no qualms about her being a shit player.
It's really fun. Yeah. I really enjoyed Linda. Either just like blurting out a random, I knew it.
Yeah.
Or like, go on. Sorry, what? Like, she's just not convincing at all. And I think it's fantastic. I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah.
I think it's her time to go next week, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will. And just like to finally round off episode 2, because we obviously had the reveal, Lisa's reveal with being a priest. Again, another thing of like, Anna, I mean, I don't know. And it was like, she might be lying about that too. And I was like, I don't think so. But, you know, if you're in there, maybe whatever. Yeah. But like, yeah, I thought that was an interesting, I loved all the like religious, like, iconography of the like the closing of the episode, all of them looking like little like saints, like Livy brushing her hair, and just like they were all like little lambs of this. Oh, it was so brilliant. It was so good. I was like, it's like they get it so right with like the music, the building, the tension, like the edit. It's such a brilliant show for like all that stuff. And reminder that it won the Emmy last year for like best reality, and it took not.
Was it Emmy?
Yeah.
Was it the Traitors UK or US?
Oh, I think it might have. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it was UK or US. Okay. But I think it's the same. Yeah. The format and the production company I think is the same. But they knocked RuPaul's Drag Race off the top spot because it's won like for like years and years. Yeah. Anyway, so I digress. But episode 3 felt like a big episode. It was the same. I think because they managed to get the round table done in the. I actually looked at the time stamps and I was like, oh, yeah, the round table was over and done with quite quickly. And then obviously we had the extra mission at the end. But yeah, I mean, R.I.P. Livy, but I feel like it was her time.
I was really glad to see that they got rid of her. Yeah. I had enough of her.
She'd run out of
screaming and not listening and being just over dramatic about things that were not personal, just about the game. So yeah, good riddance.
People's reactions to you, like being like, I was like, yeah, that people are gonna.
No one can engage with
exactly.
What are people supposed to say in response to
yeah, exactly.
Like, no,
it's silly.
Get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. But yeah, Linda's again another one for the show reel for Linda. Poor Mina was just like
she did say
she was gonna react, but it was too much. Yeah. Like you can't cry without tears.
She's like my baby.
Like, okay. Yeah.
It was like, okay,
yeah.
Like,
and it was nice as well to see the conclusion of Freddie's suspicions, because it was like, oh, it's a really good double bluff, isn't it? It was like,
why would I do that?
What's the point? Yeah. Like, why would I be double bluffing again? Like, you've accused me of like 3 double bluffs in the last 5 minutes. I'm not doing it. It's not me. So yeah, obviously we had Linda's wonderful performance at breakfast for R.I.P. Yeah.
I loved everyone. Like, just being like, why's she crying? What she did? Why's she doing that? What she didn't convince one person.
No.
She would have been better off just being like, oh, that's a shame.
Think gave her a hug, which obviously Frankie would do because Frankie's very like that's her MO. But like, yeah. Anyway, I think we watched it together, as Cooper said, and we were howling at that moment. And then obviously now Anna has decided to reveal, because in the previous episode she revealed to Charlotte that she'd been recruited. Yeah. And then now she's saying like, oh, I've got a clue, and I'm going to say I've like tried to recruit me. And I think they're just a bit like, I don't know what information or clue this really is.
Yeah, no one knows how to react to this. You're telling really small groups. This is what Fozia said as well.
Yeah.
They're telling small groups of people that you were recruited.
Yeah.
You're not offering any information beyond the fact that you were recruited. But what did they say? What clues do you have other than these are the people that voted for me in the past? This is about you. Like, you're centering yourself in this game as if you are the key to finding out who the traitor. You have information that could be helpful,
and she's not finding ways. She's not finding the usefulness in it. So yeah, it was just like it's not what you think it is.
Yeah,
and it's funny to see her be like, just make lots of main character energy vibes about all of it. But yeah, again, we'll see how that pans out for her later in the episode. So we obviously had the challenge, which is funny because we obviously saw them. I think all of us sat there watching was like, what is going on? Yeah. What is this challenge? Yeah. It made no sense. And it was funny because they actually had to get Dan to explain it again.
Well, they knew. They were like, sorry guys, we kind of shit the bed on this one.
Like, yeah, like,
we kind of just made it up as we went along.
Someone needs to say, although just on the subject of Dan, before they got to the challenge, Dan made the first play for Mina.
Yeah, Dan says, there must be a reason why I'm still here.
Yeah.
Someone I'm really close to, which is Mina,
yeah.
or I'm just fucking up and I'm just missing something.
Yeah.
He's the only person who said Mina so far.
Well, exactly. And I think, and also basing it on his playing of the game as this really, I guess, really independent and also quite controversial and quite inciting, like, player. Like, he guns for people. He, like, gets into confrontations without any, like, worries. So, like, yeah, I think it is interesting that he's made that connection, that it's probably someone who is keeping him there and keeping him as like a confidant, which we have seen is Mina. But so we get to the challenge and they were getting like I think it's like molasses or like thrown on their heads, and it was really funny. Like, and it was the first one. You could tell they were just like, yeah, just dunk it on your whole face. Yeah,
they were like,
she's like, oh, like, they were obviously like told off after that, and we're like, maybe just down their backs. Like,
like no one else had it over their head like Anna did. I felt really sorry for her. She was like, like she's like spitting. It's disgusting.
I was like, yeah, health and safety check to get past there. I thought Alexander looked like he enjoyed it. He looked like he was into it in like a kind of little kinky way. I was like, oh, see a little side of you.
When it was happening.
He was like, I think a few of them were a bit like, some of them were like, yeah. And
Linda was leaning into it.
Yeah, she was. She looks like she's standing under a shower or something like that. It was a bit, it was all a bit weird. It was a weird moment, but obviously it was the only like moment I warmed to Joe when he was, I think him and Fozia were like the first people up. And he was like, they were chatting and they were like deliberating who to choose. And he was like, I don't know. She was just whispering so loudly. I was like,
he's like, I just agree with
that. I just thought whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that was the one redeeming moment of Joe. Just because it was quite funny that he said that. But it was interesting as well because obviously they had to choose people who they thought had chosen them. Everyone kept going for Linda. Everyone kept going.
That's what I don't understand. Why that doesn't ever translate to the round table.
Yeah.
Like, they know it's her.
Yeah.
But they just haven't, for some reason, banded together and tried to get her out.
I know. It keeps it loses momentum every time. It's really annoying. I think maybe it's because I know. Well, we don't really know. We can go into why we think they don't think it's, why they're not fully going after her at the end. And then obviously this is where we get the betrayal, Dan's betrayal, which unfortunately, so obviously he's in his mind, he's like, whatever, like, you know, and
game. He's like, this is just a game.
Mina wouldn't suspect me and all that sort of stuff. So Mina gets gunged. And the thing is with Mina is like, I get her reasons for not wanting to be gunged and the hair, and I completely understand that. But I also do feel like it's an interesting one where it's like, I don't know, because they're again, it's part of playing the game to get the shield as the traitor. So I kind of wish she'd gone for that rather than the personal thing of like, don't do it to me. More like, I need to get the shield.
I think she genuinely didn't want to get her hair
of course.
The thing anyway, and then later on was like, she knew that's what she said at the time out loud.
So she needed
to, she had to say it at the round table and say, you knew that I didn't want to get my hair.
Yeah.
She didn't mention the shield.
No, true.
I think she was just genuinely like, please don't put it in my hair.
Yeah. No, it's a normal reaction, but I guess, you know, it's part of the game to, in Dan's eyes, to just be like, fair game, everyone's fair game. Although I mean, Frankie's Frankie's reasons, Frankie didn't really get any reason. I don't know whether she said like, I really want a shield or whatever, but she was also very, very upset by getting gunged.
She was, yeah.
And obviously they all kind of, I think they colluded, and the only ones we know who like demanded answers for like who did it to them were Frankie and I think Mina. And with when, again, this is actually what made me think Leanne is why I would suspect Leanne, because what she did was shady as fuck.
In terms of throwing down on
yeah. So I thought it was a smart move. I did think it was a smart move. And the fact that she's doing it to Mina, who is a traitor, is obviously like, it's then not working.
Yeah.
If she was doing it to someone who was a faithful, it would have worked really well. But like throwing Dan under the bus, it was just like,
if I was Dan,
it was
I
such
would
an arsehole move.
Either Leanne or Mina or both are traitors.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it didn't really make sense why Leanne didn't tell Dan. I think she probably suspected Dan as well. Yeah, and she obviously seems to really trust Mina, which is
No, I think. Well, I mean, who knows what will happen in the later episodes? But like, yeah, I thought that was a really shady behavior, but it was good. I think it was smart gameplay in terms of what happens next. So obviously, we see at the round table. Oh, I roll Queen. I don't know. Just
I actually don't know what you're about to say, so I was like, oh, who's that?
Dan.
Oh yes, Dan. Yes.
Yeah. So Dan, obviously, sadly, the tides turn on Dan. Even though, well, actually, before that, Anna was like, "I'm gonna tell you all. I got the shield." And then Jake's like,
Anyway,
it's great.
She's
Linda,
giving me like
yourself.
This is gonna be anything to anyone who doesn't watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but she's giving me Brittany with
Like,
guys, I've got an announcement.
You're not looking at me.
Like, I've got something to say, and then the announcement is just something really inconsequential that doesn't
matter to anybody else.
Change anything for anyone.
No, exactly.
And Anna again dropped the ball. But
yeah. So we like had a glimmer of like it being pushing to Linda, and then again Frankie pipes up and she's like, "Hang on, who? You? Was it you or was it you?" And then like
about the task
and like who gunged me and whatever and da. And you know, obviously Dan, I think if Dan had been honest there and then, I don't know whether that would have changed things.
It might
for
have,
him.
You know, if he was like, do you know what? It was me. And if he was less defensive, and said, I am playing a game of strategy and I'm trying to win, but I understand why you're upset and da. I think he realised, fuck, I have to own up to this, and by then it was too late because he'd already tried to defend himself. So I think he might have been okay if he just said. Yeah,
it's a shame. I think his decision making in that moment wasn't the best, because obviously it opened up the doors for Mina, and like, because she had that information, she was able to use it to her advantage.
Yeah.
Again, which is what makes her a great traitor, is that she uses information at the right times, and she targets people who are already under scrutiny, but in a way that's like the evidence has actually genuinely backed up against them. I know that a couple of times she voted for Kaz, but again, I think that was because the tide was turning, and there weren't any other clear candidates.
Yeah,
but
she did a really good performance.
She did, and it did really make me sad, because obviously it made me sad because I was like, oh, I really do hope they stay friends.
So do I, because they seem to really like
each other. I hope that they have like their bond persists, but like beyond this show, because they obviously did have a lot of trust for each other. So, but we sadly saw the takedown, and like I think again we got another little Linda Fozia moment where I think Linda voted for Fozia, and she was like, it's just you. And then she was like, it was a great moment for faces. But we sadly saw Dan, and then they got another talking to from Claudia. Claudia was like, you're all bloody what's you're dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And it's you're the only ones who are to blame.
Yeah.
And then we see Linda. When Linda was trying to find the quill for when they had to do the mission, obviously the death match.
Oh yeah, they were
mission,
their
private mission.
Round table. Yeah.
It was very tense. I don't think it was probably as tense as it was in the room. I think they just they managed to like cue up the music and like the editing of like
yeah,
people
they make it
around.
look like people are about to discover them when they probably weren't anywhere with them.
They probably had found a reason to like call them all into another room or whatever. But it was just so funny. Linda being like, I can't find it, and it was just like,
yeah,
it's right there.
She was like, Mina, help me, and Mina was like, yeah, the pen's right here.
It was just like,
so you could tell as well with Mina was really trying to like. There was a real sense of urgency that I don't think Linda was fully grasping at that point. She was like, we need to like just decide immediately. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to like, come on, get a move on. She was like, that. Like, she kept having to like direct her and like help her out a bit, which was making me laugh. Linda was writing very slowly on that picture.
I know.
Names. Again, she might have had time and she might have realised that no one was around, but the way it was edited made it look like she was writing at a glacial pace, like just one letter at a time. But I thought she might have been doing calligraphy or something.
Yeah, or she wanted to try and make it look like, you know, I don't know.
They showed the actual writing. I was like, oh, she just scribbled it. So I don't know. Maybe the pen fucked her up. Maybe the ink wasn't working or something.
It was obviously some sort of mishap. Yeah, but to increase the tension.
Yeah.
But so we had Fozia, Alexander, Leon, and Anna at the deathmatch table. Again, those faces.
Their poker faces are dog shit.
Please, I'm sorry. Children in Need, Red Nose Day, I don't care. Some sort of something. Get them, that group of people, on TV and make them play poker again. Because not necessarily Anna, but like Fozia, Alexander, and Leon, they were giving, I don't know, like, bravo.
You know that gif of Thierry Henry laughing? He's trying not to laugh. It's like his mouth is moving. Like, I'll show it to you afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
Moving loads. That's what they were, even though they weren't doing it for that degree, that's what they were giving me. It was very much like they realised they had the life card. And they were like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got shit cards over here.
Yeah.
Like, guys.
And then, I don't know, just like, Alexander looking like he was like either going to shit himself or he was like on a weird trip or something. I don't know.
Doing something with his teeth.
It was really bizarre.
I don't know.
He's had crazy eyes. He literally has his eyes. He's giving like Orange is the New Black, like crazy eyes vibes. Anyway, so again, Anna got another main character moment. She was like, "I'm the girl who lived." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, right. Move on." Yeah, and I guess her being picked to do it is probably, it does feed into the narrative in her head.
Yeah.
But anyway, we move on, and then we are down to the final two,
Leon and Fozia,
and that's where we leave the episode.
I hope to God that Fozia is spared.
Yeah.
I know that she's a stronger faithful than Leon in the sense that she knows exactly what the fuck's going on and she knows Linda's gunning for her. So I think they probably will kill her. I also like Leon a lot. But he also, I don't know, I think keeping him in is probably going to be beneficial to them because he hasn't ever been right about who the traitor might be.
They will obviously keep Leon more than they will Fozia because Linda is one of the traitors.
Yeah, they can make him look guilty easier than they can Fozia, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Fozia's just she's just on task for the whole thing, so she just will. She hasn't wavered.
No,
she just seems like such an obvious faithful. Leon seems like a faithful too.
Yeah.
He hasn't brought as much strategy. So he's just a bit less valuable.
Exactly. Yeah, he is. And also the group of his clique have like it's not his clique, but they have disbanded now, literally because two of them have gone, but also, I think Leanne might also start playing a bit more on her own. It's interesting with Leanne, and when we in the episodes where we did have like the little group, Leon was giving like a sitcom family.
They were
or like a soap family. Like it was like Livy and Tyler were like the two like mishap kids who just was like doing whatever, and then like Leanne and Leon were just like the mummy and daddy, like trying to do their best, but like no, like not really keeping them in check.
Yeah.
Anyway. It was a nail biter of a week.
Yeah, it was.
Do we have anyone that we want to really pour one out for?
Do you know what? It's not necessarily a person, but with Mina, not Mina. Who's the sister who left? What was her name?
Armani? Oh no, Maya.
Maya. When she left, I think either when she was reading the note or whatever, But she said, "What the Ross?" and it made me laugh.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to hear that on Traitors. So that really entertained me. Yeah, that was I was like, this is fun. I don't know if I have any other moments in my... I enjoyed Alex saying Situturi. I thought that was very cute. I liked his
very
explanation.
cute.
I think it was a saying that one of his grandparents used to say. This was just for me, but I found Frankie kept saying that she had a niggling feeling about Freddie.
Yes.
And it kept making... I know that niggling is a term, but it's one of those ones that, like, I can't remember what it's in. There's something where someone makes a joke about the word Negroni, and they're like, I don't know the origins of that term. I don't know if it's whatever, but obviously it's not. It's not the meaning that you think. It doesn't have the etymology that you would think it does. But yeah, whenever white people use the word niggling, I always think, So Frankie was doing that in reference to Freddie. It gave me a little chuckle.
And the use of the word little before it, I think, was interesting.
Yeah.
Saying like,
She just kept saying it over and over again. I was like, but I don't think anyone has left at this point that I feel sad about anymore, if that makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
Dan, obviously, love him, wanted him to go much further, was genuinely upset about that.
Yeah.
But the ones before that, I'm
no,
they don't really care.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we've necessarily lost strong faithfuls. I think we've lost, dare I say it, fodder.
Yeah.
In terms of like people who were not necessarily, again, Maya, maybe we could have seen her do more, but I don't, Livian Tyler, no. And obviously Dan, like I said, I think had he been recruited, I think would have been really fun. And probably would have been really fun. Although I think probably would have got Mina and either of them sussed quite quickly based on their bond. Yeah. I think who would you put it's got to be Fozia. I'm sorry, like she's just
she's the queen.
I want to know her. I want to get to know her in real life.
I feel like I do know her.
Yeah, I feel like I've met her. I feel like I've worked with her. That's why I think because I've worked quite a lot in like all women institutions. Like I work the sector I work in is very, very, the teams tend to be like dominated by women, and I've just worked with that dynamic of women before, like Linda and Fozia, but also Frankie. And oh my god, do you know what the bit like Linda went into the bar and Linda was like, and she was like, don't shout it.
Linda was freaking out about Fozia sussing her.
Yeah.
Frankie was like, okay,
it was just the kind of intenseness of like it. And I don't know, because I've worked in that environment, I feel like I can say it, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just, you don't know what it's like until you work in an environment like that.
Yeah.
Like
I've done it once.
Yeah.
And it was,
how interesting the politics are.
Yeah.
How, like, I guess there's things do become quite, the takedowns are long game. They're like, as in like,
it's very strategic.
And there's a lot of like people, express their opinions, people talk, and people are very, I never would say that, would never use the term bitchy ever to describe it ever. But
people are over familiar.
People assume it's bitchiness. What I think is people clock each other and are very perceptive. Women are very perceptive. They clock each other. So they will find ways to let people know, not in a passive aggressive way, but it will just, what I mean is like, it's long game.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of passive aggression in all women teams. There can also be passive aggression in mixed teams too. Yeah. I have found that.
Yeah. I think I'm correcting myself in saying I don't think Fozia is being passive aggressive.
Oh yeah, I don't think she is. I think when there's a dynamic like that, and you're kind of describing it in the sense of like, I have met a group of women that have these different personalities.
Yeah.
And I've seen how that plays out and the fireworks that sort of explode when certain people are forced together.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah. And just the hormones and the things and everything.
Just a lot.
Swimming around. I just love it. But yeah, we have had another fantastic time watching the show, and I hope you've enjoyed our podcast.
We have. I'm going to watch quietly and not talk about it on the show Traitors US, because I know it started.
Have you found a way to watch it?
Online somewhere.
Oh, okay. We won't say any more. But thank you so much for watching, for listening. Tune in next week.
We're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. We're everywhere. So listen, watch, engage, and tune in next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.